So civil society in democracies is a weird thing. It's outside of the government, it's outside of the market, it's obviously connected to both of those things, but it's where we get together and do things that benefit other people. And if you think about the way that we embody a set of rights, that's what lets us do that. It's about being able to express ourselves. It's about being able to associate with each other. And in order to really do that, there's some degree of privacy that's necessary, because this isn't action in the government sector where there's a legitimacy that's provided by the majority vote. These are minority interests, and many of them. And so in order for that space to really function the way it's meant to, as a kind of bulwark against the tyranny of the majority, if you will, it needs to be made up of all kinds of associations, from 2 or 3 people getting together to do something that improves their neighborhood, to formal institutions that are funded by private dollars but work on behalf of the public. So it's by design meant to be somewhat fragmented, full of different kinds of organizations, different kinds of people. The values that we should think about in civil society, I think, are about pluralism, diversity, not efficiency, not uniformity. Those are values that the business sector excels in. Scale and efficiency are driving values in the commercial sector. They can be valuable within civil society, but the larger values are about participation, those minority views again, that pluralism. It's a different set of values that shapes the space. To date, we've been just not thoughtful enough about the nature of the resource. We tend to act as if it works like money does. We talk about the value of data, and there is value to data, but it's not only a monetary value. It's a fundamentally different economic resource. It's almost as if we were living in houses on land, and now in the digital age, we're out to sea. And we've taken the houses and we've put some pontoons under them, and we think, good, we got this. We can still navigate the waters. But that works as long as you're on a pretty flat lake, right? You get into some choppy waters, and you actually need a boat. So we need to be inventing some boats, some organizational structures with both rules and regulations and norms that say we're going to treat your data with the same integrity toward mission that we treat your money and your time. And here's how we're going to do it. And here's how we can make great good happen and also not leave you, the individual whose data it is, feeling like you've been used or exploited or put in danger. Well, I think there's a very different context within which civil society is engaged with digital policy issues here in Germany and in the EU. And I'd argue actually that while it might not be a few very large organizations, civil society deserves a lot of credit for getting the GDPR passed. That didn't just happen. That was a long effort by lots of groups and lots of perspectives engaged in making policy change. So it's important to think about civil society and its relationship to the policy-making structures. Now, the flip side of that is because there is such a strong policy regime in the European Union and in Germany, civil society groups may not feel like they have to constantly engage with these issues, whereas in the US, we don't have the laws. So we're depending on the justice system and case law and constantly fighting battle after battle after battle. I mean, the Electronic Frontier Foundation is a great example. It has now on crypto battle number 4 or 5, right? That we just keep engaging with these same civil liberties, civil rights issues, because we don't have a set of national structures that everyone needs to comply with. If you think about not-for-profits in Germany and around the world, they traffic in trust. We've built rules and norms for these organizations that allows people to trust that if I donate my time or I donate my money to you, you're actually going to use that toward this mission. And for not-for-profit organizations or for civil society to not assume that they have to demonstrate the same kind of trust with digital data is incredibly short-sighted. I actually think it's quite dangerous. So one of the flip sides, perhaps, of regulation like the GDPR is that it makes these issues a compliance issue. And people can tick a few boxes and think they've met the full scope of what they need to think about. But mission-driven organizations exist to pursue a mission. And all of the resources that are entrusted to them, money, time, data, have to be aligned with that mission. And I think it behooves us to actually set the standards, not respond to what the corporate sector does or what the government demands, but actually prove ourselves as the innovative place where we can use digital data for all of its value, but in a rights-respecting, human-respecting way. But I also think it's a fool's errand to say the organizational form that was invented in the late 19th century to manage time and money is going to be the right organizational form to enact these kinds of, to play these roles in an age when digital data is so valuable. It just has to change. It's going to be new kinds of governance. They'll be distributed around the world. We're already seeing that. There'll be data as a central object and organizations figuring out how to license it. It's really quite exciting. I mean, it's a great time to reinvent not-for-profits and philanthropy.